Hey guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. This is an all signs collective reading. It's a broad spectrum reading that's intended for all who see it. It's originally created for Tuesday, the 19th of April. I will be referring back to the weekly that will populate in the lower left-hand corner. It's the Sunday underpinning energy, but it's not solely set for the 19th of April. In essence, if you're seeing this in your feed or if it's popped up on your YouTube or somewhere in your social media feeds and it's not April 19th, you don't have to turn the video off. There might be something, a message in here that may work for you or validate you or support you in decisions or situations that you're dealing with right now. So I do trust that the videos will find the people when they need them. So don't necessarily turn it off just because you hear the date. It's originally created for the date, but it's also available to you when you need it, kind of thing. If you're new to me, please read the drop-down menu underneath any of the daily videos. In there's some things I want you to think about when utilizing my readings. Also, just different ways that you can support the channel. It tells you how to book a private reading, if you're interested in that, how to figure out what decks I'm using, if you're interested in the decks that I'm using, and just different ways that you can support the channel. If you would like, please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the reading. That greatly helps me. Leave a question or comment. I do read them all, and I enjoy them. And then also, if you want to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. You will get notified every time I put up a new video. And videos do go up daily, so I try and have a new video every day, so keep with the flow of things. The reason why I do a collective reading is I believe that we share a lot of energies collectively right now as a planet, just in some of the greater experiences we're having, sort of, pandemics and global wars, or like wars in the Ukraine. Information now travels so much more quickly via the internet and the phones that are in our hands. We have access to the entirety of the world and the experiences and the feelings that come from that access. So that's part of the reason why I do this as a collective reading, is so that we can look at sort of what energies are available to us out there that we need to be aware of, that we can tap into and maybe make for a better experience for ourselves or for others around us. And that's sort of the point of this. So let's see what's going on in the cards, what the cards want us to know this day. And our card for today is the Two of Wands. So interesting that we have yesterday's card was also the Six of Wands. So we've got a little bit of Wands energy running in the early part of this week, which is not a bad thing. Wands is very dynamic, right? Wands is fire energy. So it's I would say it's probably the more assertive of all of the elements. It's about kind of like that can-do attitude, getting in there, getting it done, taking action, making decisions, right? Not necessarily from the most logical of places. I would say that would be more a Swords attribute, but I would say that Wands is about kind of in the impulse, in the moment, in the knee-jerk reaction, we take that action, right? If we see something that we want or that we want to create, we go after it. We don't like hem and haw or wonder or worry. We take action and we move. And that's kind of the dynamism of the Wands suit to me. The Two of Wands is always about, first off, I'll say that twos to me are always about couplings, right? Or coming together. And sometimes couplings can be, in my opinion, our own relationship to the self, right? So if we don't necessarily have a significant other around, or we don't have a relationship, we can always be working on the relationship to the self. I think sometimes that's the most important relationship we have in the world. Beyond that, then we can show up in better ways and in more true fashion to our other relationships, right? So I think of twos in that regard, right? So this could be about us dwelling within that relationship to the self, or within a close personal relationship that we have going on in our life. The Two of Wands is always about, and I love how she depicts these cards because she uses very traditional sort of imagery that stands in, like, say, the Rider-Waite deck, that globe at her knee there. is very much a Two of Wands image. And what it means to me, or how it translates, is that like we have the expansiveness of the world around us. We have an opportunity to do whatever we want, really, if we think about it, if we put our mind to it, if we start to contemplate it. And that's definitely what goes on in the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is not necessarily an action card in the sense of that we're taking physical action, but we are sort of taking spiritual desire action, if that makes sense. We're kind of going through the catalog of, okay, what is it that I want? How do I want it to look in the next 3 months? Where do I want to be? How do I want to arrive? What do I want it to feel like? And this can be around anything for each and every one of you, right? Most of you have ideas of where you think you want to head, or desires of what you want your life to look like. Today would be a day to sort of contemplate that, finish the thought, um, build the dream in a way, right? By feeding sort of energy to the fire, by feeding thought or ideas, desire to the possibility of being able to create that for yourself. And that's sort of like the meaning of the Two of Wands, right? She's looking out this window to the future going, okay, what is it that I want? How is it that I want it? How do I want it to feel, right? What sort of joy will it bring me? These would be questions that you would be asking around a particular, I don't know, situation that you may be dealing with. Is it something that fits along with, say, your life goals, or where you see yourself in the next few years? This is the opportunity to kind of get into the feelings of it all, or the ideas of it all, and see what feels best, and then kind of let go of the rest. And the thing with the globe to me about this card is it says to me that options are wide open at this point, right? We have an opportunity to do whatever we want. Now, underpinning this from Sunday's reading, which I said will populate in the lower left-hand corner, is that Eight of Swords energy, I believe. I just want to double check that, but I think it's the Eight of Swords. Let me just double check that. It is the Eight of Swords. We have sort of this funny limited energy this week. And we have the Eight of Swords in the early part of the week, going into the Four of Pentacles and then the Four of Cups. All three of those are sort of restrictive energies to me in a traditional tarot reading. I think that what's going on is we are looking at where we maybe restrict ourselves this week, how we restrict ourselves, either emotionally or materially or even mentally. And then these Wands cards are kind of trying to open us up and tell us, like, look, there's something beyond the restriction. Yes, she's seated. No, she's not taking action, but yes, she's sort of dreaming in a way, or visioning into the future. And she's trying to decide where she wants to be in the world, or how she wants her world to look. And we need to do that right now, I think, even if we don't know or understand how we're going about to get there. Does that make sense? Because that would be the restriction of the Eight of Swords. The key with the Eight of Swords is that she's sort of blindfolded and tied up, and she's surrounded by swords. And because she can't see clearly or think clearly, because it's a swords card, it's ultimately our thoughts that are in play there. Because she can't see clearly, she can't see that she can move forward. She feels stuck in that card, right? Or confused, or possibly tossed around by her thoughts, by her belief system. And I feel like with that and the two fours that are coming this week, it's challenging us to look at where our beliefs are at, where our thoughts are at, what kind of vibration are we putting out there? Because if we're putting out a vibration of like improbability or impossibility, then it's not necessarily going to be possible, right? And so, or if we're afraid to make a choice or a decision, like those fours would kind of indicate in a way, if we're scared of making a choice or a decision around a certain aspect of our life, then we're not going to really ever be able to sort of fulfill that, right? And to me, this Two of Wands is about fulfillment. Not quite in the moment, but it's about considering the idea of the fulfillment and what that would look like, and how does it take us to, what sort of steps do we need to take to get there, right? The globe too also says to me that we can have, like I said earlier, anything that we want, but it also speaks to this idea that it can sometimes feel larger than we actually are capable of, right? But we have to dream, we have to believe, right? We have to listen to our spirit and let our spirit guide us towards whatever that goal is, because if we believe and we understand that if it's in alignment to what it is that our soul wants, we will find our way there. We just have to kind of let go of the self-limiting ego beliefs. That would be the Eight of Swords that is telling us we can't get there, or that we're stuck, or that we don't have the resources to get there. That's not true. We do. And that's sort of where the Two of Wands becomes this space of contemplation and connection to spirit that like reinvigorates us and reminds us that indeed we can find a way there. We just need to believe. And then begin to take action when it's time to take that action. Today might be just like laying the plans, right? And then waiting for the opportunities to come. That's kind of the Two of Wands energy. Let's look at the Sacred Forest Oracle. So this is new, I love it. This is Dragonfly Spirit, which is change, and it is card number 12, which is a 3. 3s are always about successful collaboration, which I love. Dragonflies are usually associated with spirit. I love the lotus flowers in the water too, which to me speaks to like spiritual growth and beauty. So we're listening to the spirit in the Two of Wands, right? Because Wands is the spirit suit. And then we have Dragonfly Spirit here, kind of coming in to sort of potentially collaborate with us and help us to facilitate the change that we may need so that we can move forward, so that we don't have to feel stuck in that Eight of Swords energy that underpins this. The challenge in the Eight of Swords, or the reason why that underpins this, is that we get to see and learn from how we maybe pen ourselves in with our own thoughts and what we communicate, and we can free ourselves, right? And be stronger for having done so, more aware for having done so. So in essence, that Eight of Swords does us a service, it does us a favor, it teaches us an aspect of ourselves that we need to learn so that we don't, fall prey to it again, so to speak. Let me read you Dragonfly Spirit. You watch the dragonfly whisk across the surface of the forest pond with elegance and grace. Her iridescent wings and body shine in a kaleidoscope of colors, depending on how the light falls on her. She hovers, flies backwards, and even darts upside down with seeming delight. This card is letting you know that it's all right to change directions. It's okay to change your mind. You don't need to be consistent at every turn. This is the time to put the traditions and expectations of others aside. Instead, you are called to create your own traditions. You are free to express yourself and let your spirit fly. Dragonflies are acrobats of the sky. Not only can they fly backwards, they fly upside down and turn 360 degrees. And while looking graceful as they do, Dragonfly Spirit urges you to take on her same fearless daring. Go beyond predictable behavior. Just because something has always been done a certain way doesn't mean that it needs to continue to be done that way. While you can't control the exact circumstances of your life, you can control what meaning you give them. Select meanings that empower you, for this is the time to be carefree, wild, and unpredictable. Dragonflies are ancient, taking to the skies 300 to 350 million years ago. They have adapted through millennia and thus survived when many creatures have not. These masters of change are a reminder that change will heal you. The spirit of Dragonfly says, be willing to change your perspective, and good fortune will follow. Sometimes you need to back up to go forward. As people get older, they find it harder to change. So to activate youthfulness, be willing to make changes without hesitation. So I like that, because I feel like with the Two of Wands, it's about contemplating what changes do we want to make today and how do we want to make them. So being open to that and allowing that to carry you and allowing the spirit to sort of move you towards those ideas, just the ideas and the thoughts of them, will bring about the freedom that we need to sort of move forward. We may move forward slowly this week due to the 4s that are coming, but we will be moving forward with a better understanding of who we are and how and where we limit ourselves. The grounding stone, which is a principle of something we should ground in today, is on obsidian, which definitely wards off any negativity or opinions of others, and the word is wisdom. So trusting our own internal wisdom and allowing that to guide us towards this change is really key today. Understand that we're giving to ourselves this week. Give was the grounding stone for the entire week. So give yourself a break, allow for change, and trust the wisdom that is within you. that's pretty much the message for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Please hit that thumbs up button, leave a question or comment, and please subscribe and share out the channel to help me get the word out. And I look forward to seeing what happens tomorrow. All right, you guys have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.